Good morning, happy Friday, and welcome to the fifth and final of this week's Facebook Lives. So, if you haven't seen any of them yet, I've been going live every day this week on my Facebook page and also sharing it over into my Facebook group business class, which I'm going to do now before I forget. So, let's just do that. And I've been chatting about the symptoms of essentially poor planning. So on Monday, I talked about when you're always starting something new, you're full of ideas, always coming up with exciting new ideas, always starting new projects, but never actually seeing them through to completion. So that was Mondays. If that's something that you know that you're guilty of, you should definitely go and check that one out. Then on Tuesday, I was talking about creating content for content's sake, and this is a big one. I think most of us, I know I have been guilty of this at least on some occasions. And this is the whole kind of, I need to get a blog post out there, or I haven't posted on Facebook for a while, or I need to get an Instagram post out because I want to post daily, but I don't really know what to say. So I'm just going to, put up a random quote or a picture of a cute puppy or something. And both of those things are fine. In fact, if you look at my Instagram account, every other post is a quote. But I plan mine strategically and I choose them carefully. And the content that goes with the quote is hopefully relevant, valuable for my audience, and also strategically planned for my own business goals. I'm certainly not dissing either quotes or cute puppy pictures, because definitely both have their place, but not if they've just been, banged up because you need to post something and you can't think of anything to post. There is nothing that you should be posting in that way. You should always have kind of purpose and strategy behind it. But I'm going off on a rant. This isn't even what I'm meant to be talking about today. So I should get back to the point. So that was what I was talking about on Tuesday. So if that is you, then go and check that one out. And let me just write this description. If you've watched any of these, you'll know that I'm rubbish at multitasking. I always get distracted while I'm trying to share into my group. So on Wednesday, what did I talk about on Wednesday? That's right. On Wednesday, I talked about that whole thing that we see a lot, and may well have happened to you. It certainly, again, happened to me. All of these things that I've done myself, which is why I feel comfortable talking about them. And that is basically doing a bit of a disappearing act online. We all know that online, people's attention spans are short, and we need to be kind of showing up consistently and regularly. And if we don't, then people will forget us. They'll move on to someone else, and we'll lose that momentum. We'll lose that audience that we've spent worked so hard to build. And yet, time and time again, we disappear. We go perhaps a day, and then 2 days, and then a week, and then 2 weeks, and then perhaps a month or more, without posting, without showing up on social media, or without blogging, or without whatever it may be. And these disappearing acts are damaging your business. And you know that. I know that. And so that's what I was talking about on Wednesday. Then on Thursday, yesterday, I was talking about, what was I talking about yesterday? My mind's gone blank. Oh yes, not measuring anything. So this is another kind of dangerous trap to fall into. There's two sides to it. There's either not measuring anything at all in your business and kind of just being busy, but not actually checking that you're on track, not checking that what you're doing is working. Or there is, and I think this might be more common, focusing on the wrong metrics and focusing on the vanity metrics, which again can be valuable, but only if there's a strategy, only if there's a plan behind them, only if you know why you're measuring them and what you're going to do if they're not where they should be. So that's what I talked about yesterday, about how, knowing what the right measurements are. And the fact that you don't need to be measuring a lot of things, but you do need to be measuring some things, and they need to be chosen carefully and strategically. That word strategy coming up a lot this week. So today I am talking about always being busy, but never being productive. And again, I think most of us here will have experienced that at some point or other. Even the most organized will have experienced it. So yeah, let's dive into that. What does it look like? So it looks like feeling like you never have enough time, feeling like, if someone asked you what your biggest challenge in your business was right now, it would be like, time. I just don't have enough time to get where I want to be in my business. And yet, the lot more time that you have, it doesn't seem to actually make any difference. You stay up late, you work into the small hours, you get up an hour earlier. It doesn't seem to really make any difference. Yes, you're getting more done, but it doesn't actually seem to be shifting the needle. You're still not actually making any more sales. You're not making any more money. And so you keep piling on more things to do. Well, I'm obviously not working hard enough yet, so I probably should, try this and try that. And you're busy, but don't seem to be, or don't feel like you're getting anywhere in your business. If you're watching this either now or in the replay, let me know if that sounds familiar. Is that something that you've experienced or you felt in your own business? Let me know. Also feels like you're constantly playing catch up. So all the work that you're doing it's always kind of like rush. I should have done this yesterday, or I need to get this out today. And I have definitely been there. And occasionally, thankfully less often than I used to be, but still am there sometimes, frantically writing blog posts on the morning that they're meant to be published that afternoon, and all that kind of fun stuff. And what happens is you're busy, but you don't actually have time to plan. So while you may know that you should be planning, you may even know that in theory, planning will make your life easier and help you get more done, but you just don't have time for it because you're always in that catch-up mode. You're always in kind of emergency mode of dealing with the urgent stuff and nothing else ever getting done. It looks like always looking for kind of productivity hacks and ways to be more productive. Now, I recently listened to the audio version of the book Clockwork by Mike Michalowicz. And if you're in my Facebook group, I think pretty sure I mentioned it in there. Wow, look at the light. The sun is just beaming through. I'm almost disappearing in the in the bright light. Let me just adjust the blinds so I don't completely vanish. That's a bit better, isn't it? Okay. Yes, that's a bit better, isn't it? It's still a bit bright, but still a bit bright. Anyway, better than it was. So yeah, it's kind of, I've lost my train of thought now. Oh, that's not better at all, is it? Hopeless. I wonder if I come and sit round here. Let's come and sit round here. There we go. I don't want to complain about the sunshine though. We had such a miserable day yesterday that I'll take it. Okay, right, there we go. Right, so what was I talking about? Yes, constantly looking for productivity hacks. Yeah, that's right. I was telling you about this book that I read, Clockwork by Mike Michalowicz. Really, really fab book. And in fact, I love all of his books. He's written quite a few, and I've been sort of binge consuming all of them. But this one in particular is he makes a really interesting point about productivity and the kind of constant search to be more productive, and that it's actually can be a bit of a trap. And he makes a really, really good point that actually the more time that you create for yourself to work, the more work you also then create for yourself. And so it's kind of like a vicious circle. You can get into this kind of trap of like, okay, well, if I get up an hour earlier, I can be more productive. But then all you do is you create more work to fill that hour. And then before you know it, you're thinking, oh, I need another hour now. And you're constantly looking for more time. So again, this is all part of that. Constantly being busy and never feeling like you have enough time, or you're actually achieving the results that you're trying to get. Okay, so if this is all sounding familiar, then you're certainly not alone. And hopefully this Facebook Live is going to give you some insight. And my workshop next week, which if you've watched any of these other lives over the course of the week, you will by now have heard me chatting about, is going to dive deep into some real kind of actionable strategies that you can put in practice to solve this problem and each of the problems that I've discussed over the last few days. Let's look at why we get into this mode. Why do we get into this mode of being busy, making ourselves so busy, but yet not achieving anything? Well, for number one, I think sometimes it's almost a good kind of distraction method. It's a way of feeling better, because if we feel like we're busy, we can fool ourselves into thinking that we are productive. But busyness doesn't equal being productive necessarily. In fact, oftentimes it doesn't. And we know that by all that stuff that I've just explained and described about how it actually looks. So we can fool ourselves into thinking, well, as long as I keep, if I'm busy every day, then I must be doing something right. I must be being productive for my business. As long as I'm busy, that's a good thing. There's this whole kind of thing online, the whole kind of hustle and all that kind of stuff, which many people, it's you need to hustle, you've got to hustle, you're not going to get anywhere unless you're hustling, and it's that can get into your mind. And actually I don't necessarily subscribe to that train of thought, and I didn't get into business to hustle. And sure, if you want that lifestyle, then that's your choice. Hey, Kelly, nice to see you. But for me, I didn't get into business to hustle and be busy all the time. That's not what I want from my business. I wanted actually completely the opposite. I wanted freedom from hustle. I wanted freedom to be able to do other things in my life, to have a business that would support the other things in my life that I love, like spending more time with my family. I'm going to have to stop this and do a part 2 later. I really apologise. My dad has just driven up, and so I better go and see him. The joys of doing Facebook Lives. So catch me later, where I will come and do part 2 of this, and we'll dive into the kind of strategies and why these things happen and what you can do about it. So I shall see you later.